Rise and shine, boys. Time for another Dice for Dummies video. And in today's video, we're talking about kit bashing, the coolest hobby I bet you're not doing. And before we dive any deeper into the aspects of this hobby, what it has to offer, and how exactly you want to get into it, I'm going to say that my time involved in kit bashing has probably been the funnest time I've had in the overall hobby of miniature wargaming and tabletop gaming. It is phenomenal. The idea of combining two separate ideas together and making your own custom identifying with your own theme inside with your own miniatures, being able to add your own values and beliefs and personal thoughts in the expression of your miniatures, and just taking it a step up to be able to flex your creative muscles so much more than just painting and regular gluing based building. I have found this phenomenally amazing, and I'm basically just here today to talk about why the heck you would want to get into kit bashing, how it's changed my hobby view, how you might want to get into it and where to start, and basically just talking about kit bashing overall. So let's not waste any more time, no more blabbering on, no more useless words, let's jump straight into it with what exactly kit bashing has to offer. Now, what is kit bashing and what are my experiences with it? Because obviously I could go on and on about how amazing, awesome, fantastic, amazing, or just beautiful kit bashing is, but at the end of the day, if I'm just going on and have no experience about it, why the heck do you click on my video? So I want to talk about my personal overall views on kit bashing through experiences I've had. So over the last 1 to 2-ish months, I've been getting heavily into orcs, and especially orc kit bashing. I love the orcs. I've been playing them for a good solid 6 months now. Played a lot of games with them in 10th edition, and I absolutely adore them overall. But I found that some of the orc models were either kind of bland or didn't really go with my theme. I love the beast snaggers, but also I love the bad moons, taking the tribal, primal aspect of the choppers and the brutal mentality of them, and combining them with the bad moon's high technology and advanced goofy weaponry that the orcs have to offer together was my dream. But as GW's fashion likes to present, obviously the miniatures are separate, and if you want both of them, you gotta buy both of them. So I went completely against everything they have to offer, and I made my own models. I basically took together some beast snagger models I'm making for my to hunt list, and I made them from boys and knobs that I wasn't using anymore, and I made my own custom mechanical beast boss out of an old war boss model I wasn't using anymore. And oh man, this has been some of the funnest stuff I have done. Seeing the models I've dreamt of seeing on the GW shelf finally come into realization has been a phenomenal experience, and that's why I'm simply here recommending it, because it's just amazing to see your own personal thoughts, beliefs, and ideas come out in a miniature and allow you to then go ahead and paint them in your own personal scheme. It just brings a whole different style of individuality to your army and allows you to basically just be not the guy who's just painting and building the GW models on the table. Having your own custom army is freaking awesome. It saves so much time from having to buy third-party models or 3D printing them. You can just make your own with stuff. And it's also saved me over $200 doing it, not having to buy more Beast Snagger and Beast Boss models. And I'm not even done with them. I still have my off-tack Blackhawk project, which I'm working on for my next Beast Boss. I still have tons of stuff I'm doing with them, and it's saving me so much more money doing that in hand. And ultimately, it's giving me cooler minis than just having 3 plain beast bosses on my field, instead having 3 individual mechanical based beast bosses I can see running around the board, knowing that I built those and having them on the table. Basically, it is the funnest stuff I've had in the hobby. It is amazing. If I haven't basically figured out what kit bashing is yet, kit bashing is taking 2 separate basic kits, combining them together to make a new one. And there's 2 different types of kit bashing in my opinion. There's basically thematic kit bashing, which is the regular kit bashing you see day to day, with the multitudes of large kits put together, costing hundreds of dollars, what gives hundreds of views for hundreds of millions of views, I should say, for kit bashing. It's what brings in stuff for kit bashing. It's those large scale models that cost $500 to make, but it's what the YouTubers do, and it's a little bit extreme for me. So I went for the more bits kit bashing style, which is basically taking pre-presented models, combining them with aspects of different kits, and making new models. We're basically saving money over it overall. Obviously, I wasn't going to be using my knobs and boys anytime soon for my to hunt list, so I thought, why not turn them into something actually useful? At the end of the day, saves me money. I can always proxy them for other models if they turn out not to be too good, and just basically gives me models I actually am truly proud to look at and don't see the sculpt as nothing but useless garbage. So overall, my experience with it is be beautiful. I'm not the most experienced man in the world, nor am I the best, most talented kit basher, like there's awesome out there, but I would say I have learned a couple of decent skills and tricks along the way, and I'm really enjoying the idea of kit bashing and plan to proceed it with things like my Beast Boss project, my Uftak Blackhawk project, and maybe even a couple of truck projects I might present to my Beast Snacker army. But that's basically the gist of what it is in my experience with it. But how do we get into it? Let's say that you've come this far to the video and you want to know how to get into it. You like kit bashing, you like the idea of combining models, ideas, having your own personal sculpt. How do we get into it? Well, that's what we're going to jump into right now. How exactly do we get started? Well, starting it is basically like starting absolutely anything else in this world. It is the hardest part, and it's the very first hurdle in your journey of combining and smashing together your own random bits. So all I'd say for this part is simply jump head first into it. This is one of the things you actually can do, because it's really just an information-based guide. You don't have to jump head into it, I mean by like starting to smash things and snipping and breaking all your models apart. I more or less mean jumping into it in terms of researching, learn about it. Lose this fear of destroying your very miniatures and not having any more miniatures to play with, and just get into it, because I know what part you're in right now. You don't want your miniatures destroyed, you don't want them looking goofy and ugly if you mess up, but you also don't want the miniatures you have now, so you're stuck in a weird in-between situation where you basically don't know where to go. I was that situation, and I'm here to help. Let's just jump into it. Let's clear that doubt out of your head and get straight into it with how exactly we start and the tools we need to continue. So, very first thing I would say was going to be identify your theme. Understand what makes your heart shine. What the frick are you going to build in the first place unless you know what your theme is? Identify what you want. Do you want a Skull Imperial Guard army? Do you want a Fairy Unicorn Death Guard army? Do you want an undead freaking Thousand Suns army? Do you want freaking plain old 1980s themed, like, I don't know, World Eaters? Like, what do you want? Identify that, understand that, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going in there randomly, assembling things that don't even make sense and have any kind of, like, synergy with each other. So, pick a theme, stick with the theme, understand the theme, dude. Next one's going to be find old sprues. Take this theme and idea and start going through your old sprues, old models, maybe some stuff that was already, like a model that was assembled together, you're not using anymore, and start going through them. What do you need? If you have an Imperial Guard army, you want to make it a skeleton-based Imperial Guard army, start finding some smoke effects, some skulls, some transparent cloth if you have it, some, you know, really stuff that oriented towards a skeleton and will actually have you working well to be a skeleton. You don't want yourself grabbing a bunch of random squig models if you're going for an undead theme. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So pick the right parts, and this is actually a great step to go through, because sometimes you don't realize that, oh, my sprues actually don't have anything, which is where you go online and start to really learn the in facets of kit bashing and all the parts actually are on offer, and how much you can get out of kit bashing when you just put your head into it and start looking. So I would say here, if you have old sprues, highly recommend that, but if you don't have them, go on eBay, go on Spellcast, go find these old cast models. Just find old models, old bits, spare bits, bits for buy, bits for free if you can find it, and just really start kit bashing, creating some models that make it look cool. I'm sure you'll find it, and I swear to God, if you do this, it will make it so much clearer. You've got your parts laid out and you're ready to go. Now, how are we going to practice? Well, I really recommend here, do not practice on your models, and definitely don't practice on your characters, because you want those things, trust me. So, start practicing on assembling other bits. Start snipping, cutting, and bashing, and all the freaking onomatopoeia we use to describe kit bashing, and really just make your own parts. Start making shoulder pads, arms, legs, head, like chest, torso plates, like all these different parts that might accompany it. Start making small little base sizes, start creating base effects, like do these stuff that really is going to give you the fundamental skills, so when you get to your miniatures, you're not just randomly tearing off arms for no apparent reason, but you have a core plan what to do. Once you've got these 3 steps, it's really easy just to jump into it. You've done your practice, you've got your theme, you've got all your bits laid out, and you're ready to start. Now, what are the tools we need to get into it? So the very first one is a filer. A basic filer works fine. A nice, a handheld sandpaper, fantastic. Get a good quality filer, that can work too. But I would highly recommend, if you have the money for it and you already do own something like that, an electric grinder or a form of drill with a grinder based drill bit on it, a sanding based drill head on it or drill bit is what you want. If you already have a drill, it's perfect. Just go buy a sanding drill bit. Having some kind of electric grinder or sander is just saves so much time because it automatically just files things down to the perfect level for you, and you just basically just shape it with your own moving. It's like those automatic clay pot movers that you can just have and make from that. So I'm telling you, buying some kind of electric thing. I have an electric grinder myself, and I'm just saying it works so phenomenally well. It's basically what you want if you're looking at really getting into kit bashing, but a filer works well, can always help that. Next one you're going to want is small, powerful pliers. Having to walk around with these big, stupidly oversized pliers that don't really make sense can be annoying, especially when you're working with small little things that maybe want to go on the face, or the arms, or the torso, and you don't want the plier having to snip right through it, but you just want little cuts. That's why I would highly recommend small, kind of like rebound based pliers that really allow you to just kind of get in there and get going. Now what I recommend here is simply just the Citadel pliers. I found them so helpful. They're small, compact, powerful, and they've helped me so much with kit bashing. Obviously you want big pliers too in case you need to cut through some heavy duty stuff, but generally small pliers are awesome for cutting masks, face, eyes, like certain horn accessories. Having small pliers just make your day so much easier. And the last one's going to be super glue and plastic glue. I use Tree Frog super glue and the regular G-Del Citadel plastic glue. Both of them I use frequently. Super glue for all the stuff I do not and cannot do with plastic glue, and plastic glue so I don't have to waste the super glue. Both of them carry each other and make the process so much more easier. Trust me, there's going to be times where you have a nice clear base surface you can just plastic glue on. You don't want to have to waste that decently, somewhat expensive super glue on, but there's going to be times where the plastic glue just does not work, and you have to use super glue. Trust me, when you use the super glue though, it gets on your fingers and you'll spend the next 5 days trying to get it off and biting it off with your teeth. So it can be annoying, but ultimately both of them work in conjunction with each other to make the ultimate model. Obviously, plastic glue is meant for these obviously pretty easy to do stuff, whether it be arms, face, torso, plate, and super glue is meant for those things like standing on a stilt, wings, small accessories, really breakable parts, and stuff that's just going to be annoying and will allow you to get away with stuff you wouldn't get away with plastic glue. But that's going to be my entire video for today. Basically, I just wanted to talk about kit bashing. I've been enjoying it so much over the last couple of months that I just wanted to basically get into it, how you can get started, what kit bashing can offer, and just really give you some examples of my own personal journey involving kit bashing. So if you like this kind of content, you want me to go in more in depth, maybe not so basic, but really go in depth over my next projects, like I said, my Beast Boss project and my Attack Blackhawk project, maybe even a large scale kill rig project if I have enough money, I'm all down for that. So if you want to see that, leave a like, do the YouTube stuff, make the algorithm like me. I want to grow this channel and keep talking about Warhammer stuff. But like I said before, that's all for me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.